Hi, I'm back. So this is part 2 of me doing a mixed media um, technique that I learned and that I'm experimenting with. Now, since the last time in my previous video, which I'll link below in the description box, and if I can figure it out, I'll put a tag up in the corner. I have outlined the butterfly, the flower, and then what you didn't see me do was outline the dragonfly and 2 flowers over here. And the other thing I did, so that I wouldn't bore you with it, was I put gesso over the background. Because I'm using watercolors on this, if I went over it with a wash of either acrylic or watercolor or whatever I decide to use, which I haven't decided yet, I would probably smudge, and all of the watercolors would turn to mud that are underneath here. So what I did was put a real light coat of gesso because it's going to have color over it anyway. And now what I want to do is I want to use a few things, a few stamps to sort of bring out some stuff in the background because I'm going to be covering it up anyway. And so I'm just going to, this is a great archival, and I just want real, that's not even doing anything, real faint kind of stuff back here that may or may not show through, but I'm not using distress ink pads because they would run when I put the next, you know, layer on, and I don't want that. So, alrighty. Okay, and now I picked out 3 colors here from my little array of colors. A lot of these really need re-inking, but that's not happening. So let's see. Whoopsies, don't drop it. And that's something I need to go online and see if I can find re-inkers, and if I can't, then I will have to look for new ink pads. And I love these minis. I've had them for years. Now I really should put, what I've been doing is putting like a washcloth. I have a piece of foam somewhere here, but I can't find it. So I put a piece of washcloth under here because it helps with the padding. Sort of, kind of. Like sometimes the stamps don't come out real well on the backgrounds because of the, I think I'm doing this flower upside down actually, but that's okay. What else is new? Yeah, alrighty. I'm gonna do this one now. I have several different just individual flowers, and if they'll stick, that's great. If they don't, I'll figure something else out. I always do. Come on. Alrighty. It's really not working that well. Sometimes it's just better to do it the plain way. Okay. And then I have this little rose too. Let's see if this will stick. Problem is, it's not that it's not sticking, it's just not really printing out very well, but that's okay. This is all supposed to be real subtle and sort of in the background. not in your face, but I do sort of want it to, some of them to peek through, just a little peeky here and there. Okay, that's enough of that. So these are just some ideas that you could do on your own if you decided to do something like this. Just some extra things to stick in and do. All right, let me set this stuff aside. Now, my top layer is the one I'm having problems with thinking of what I want to do exactly. I think I'm still going to do some mark making though with my pens, extra mark making. I like to make these little sort of wonky hearts. And also, I realized that, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but here is my line. And this butterfly, this part of the butterfly was like over my halfway mark for my line, which was right here. And I was really bummed about that. But I thought, you know, just adjust. It doesn't matter what size these are. I'm not framing them and selling them. Just make the adjustment and be happy with it, and I am. So it's all good. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. Now my decision is, do I go over this with watercolor or do I go over this with a semi-transparent acrylic? And what color? And that's my biggest dilemma when I do this, is what color. I think I'm going to try this green. It's kind of a brightish, limey green. I don't know if you can hear the murder of crows outside, but and that just means a group of crows. Not that any crows are being murdered. We have a lot of crows around here. It's a little spooky sometimes. And what I will do is I will end up going back over the outlines of these. Now, the risk I take of making this too transparent is that these won't stand out enough. The ones that I've seen done, this paint normally, when they're using acrylic paints, normally really just covers up practically everything underneath. It's way more opaque than this. And these I can sort of manipulate to be either more or less opaque, and I'm okay with that. And I don't know if you can tell the natural light, the sun is coming and going because there are clouds and wind and sun and all kinds of things today. So if the light keeps changing and you can tell, that's why. I think this is doing a pretty good job because you can still see colors and so forth underneath this. At least I can at this point. We took a trip up to Artistic Artifacts in Alexandria, Virginia today. A little road trip, and that was fun. I went up for mixed media supplies because I had gotten a newsletter from them saying that they had consolidated their mixed media all into one section in the store. And I was hoping that they had added to it because they do quite a few mixed media classes up that way in the store, and they have beautiful supplies up there. They're very much into the Bernina sewing machines. They have some really beautiful fabrics from different makers that you wouldn't find like in Joann when they were open, or Hobby Lobby or Michael's now. Really some unique fabrics and stuff, but I can't stitch right now, and it was really hard seeing all those beautiful threads and fabrics and stuff like that. And I went to where they had the mixed media section, and I was a little disappointed, I have to say. It was a bit lackluster. I did get a new gel plate because I ruined my other gel plate. There. Now see, this is pretty translucent, but it also has some opaqueness to it. These are the Inktense blocks, in case I didn't say that. They're these. And I'm using that one there. And I'm just using my watercolor brush and water. And I could make this a lot more translucent, but I want some opaqueness to it. It's really hard to describe what makes me happy with the outcome, and my chair is making awful squeaking noises, so I do apologize for that as well. It apparently needs some WD-40 on it. I'm not doing the background on the Dragonfly green, I don't think. I want to show you the acrylic paint, the yellow that I used on the other one that I messed up really badly. but I was really happy with it at first, till I decided to keep messing with it. You know, more is not always more when you're doing one of these projects. I saw a stamp today that said that, and I thought, I'm going to get that. And I thought, no, because more is not always more when you've reached a limit with your mixed media. That's a little too thick. I do have a show recommendation. If you guys get Netflix, White Collar. Oof. I am addicted to that show. It's not real hard to look at Matt Bomer either. Shh, don't tell my husband that. Okay, so there's that one. And when this dries, it's going to be like that. It's almost dry there. If you look closely, you can still see the other stuff going through it. So this one, I'll put these over here. Get the paint, because I did not prepare ahead of time. So I have 2 yellows here. And I'm not going to use my good watercolor brush on that. By the way, I love this brush. I got it at Plaza Arts. It's called a Fusion brush. Light. Yeah, I think with the light you can't really see it. But anyway, I do love it. I use other brushes to do acrylic on. Okay, so I have this Liquitex Basics acrylic fluid. If you can see right here, it's semi-transparent. I also have this Arteza Lemon Yellow. It's also semi-transparent, but there's nothing on these bottles to say that. And that drives me crazy. It just makes me crazy. I wish it would say semi-transparent. And if it says it, it's in letters too small for my old eyes to see. So this one's a bit milder of a color. I forget what they call this. But I have a pad of it, and it's way too big. So we're going to try this. I'm using a dry brush. Let me see if this, just over here. Yes. I'm going to use some water though, because it is a bit thick. And if you have to use water and you're doing it over watercolors, some of my color is running, just so you know.
Oh boy. All right, I'm going to speed this up so that you don't have to sit through me doing this.
Okay, so I have painted and dried. Feels mostly dry. We're going to call it dry. Now, what I'm going to do with this is I am going to go back over the outlines. Now, you know, the green went on and I thought I liked it. Not as happy about the green as I thought I was going to be. But that's just the way it is. So, I'm going to go back over the outline with my Tombow. Sort of help define it a little bit again.
And this is where I'm going to put in some details as well. So I hope this finds you all well. We are preparing for a heat wave here. It's supposed to be in the mid to upper 90s and feel like it's in the low 100s. Like 102, 103. Probably in the next few days. I'm not looking forward to that. It makes it very hard for me to go out. By the time you see this, I don't know when I'm publishing it. And I'm finding that not many of you are interested in these videos, but that's okay. I'm here just to make them because I'm having fun and I want somebody to talk to while I'm doing it. I'm actually almost half thinking about putting it out there to see if there's a group in my area that wants to get together and do mixed media. My problem with that is, and if you have a group like that that you go to, let me know how you deal with this. How do I take all my stuff with me? Like, I don't know if I'm going to use a certain stamp until I finish the step. And then it's like, do I want to use that stamp? Do I want to use a different stamp? What pens am I going to take? What, paint am I going to take? I can't take my whole craft room. So, for me, it's a little hard. And to plan ahead, I'm a very spontaneous, there's another word for it, and it's escaping my brain at the moment, creator. So, I may plan to take a certain project, and then I'm itching to work on that project, and I end up working on it before I even go anywhere.
All right, here's where I'm going to sort of work on making this a little more stand out, maybe. Or I could totally ruin it here. So, you know, that's always possible. Especially with butterflies, because you know. Do I bring this line all the way in? See, this is where I get like, oh, I don't want to screw it up. Okay. Well, it's just for me, so do my best. And it's bumpy. It is a bumpy, textured surface. So that's fun. And mine never turn out the same on both sides because I forget what I've done on one side and end up not doing it on the other. Okay. Now see, I'm looking at this and I'm like, these colors could be brighter. You know, the colors over here. Now, is that because the background shows it off better? I don't know. Could be. It's all right though. We're just going to flow with it and make it look the best we can, because I have fun doing these. So yeah, you have to pick what you like and, you know, see if it works for you. And you can always brighten it up by bringing out the gold. Because why not? Love my gold pens. Anything metallic. Anything shiny. I'm like a crow. Give me that sparkle. Give me that shine. Give me that blingy bling bling. You know, I've heard people say that these pens, especially the white ones, dry out really easily, but I use mine like all the time. So I don't think they're having much chance to dry out, to be honest. Okay. I know I'm swirling this around a lot. I hope it's not making you car sick or motion sick or dizzy or annoying you. Sorry if it is. Sounds like there's people on my deck. Voice is so close. Okay. There's that one. I do have to say I really like the pretty bright background way better than a duller background. So there's that. I know I have way too many sections on this Dragonfly, but that's okay. It's my Dragonfly. I can make it however I want. And so can you. It's all okay. Because we're having fun. And I can't stitch, so I gotta find something to do. Can't stitch, can't crochet, can't knit. Not that I knit a lot. Not my first go-to for fiber art. I did crochet some turtles. I can show you one if you're interested. If you're even sticking this out and watching this far. If you are, I appreciate it. All right, so this one is a little bit more of a fine line. And these Tombos do way better than my microns on this very textured surface. So I'm going to just... overdo it as usual. Okay. And then I need to play with the flowers a little. My wonky shapes. And remember those pink spots I pointed out? I said, to me, those look like flowers. So that's what I highlighted here and here, was 2 of those. Couldn't resist, and I'm glad I did. I didn't want to cover them all up, even though I covered all the rest of them up with this top coat of paint. But that's okay. I preserved these 2. All right, so I think this one I'm going to... There. Here, same. Oh, where'd my line go? Yeah. I like flowers with ruffly edges on them. So, kind of trying to do the outline here of what's there in the paint. There we go. Now, if you wanted to, you could put like leaves on here. You could cut out some collage paper or whatever. I'm not doing that, but you could if you wanted to. Now, this is the part that was glued to the paper pad. I'm just peeling that off. And then I'm going to sign it. And then on the back, I will write what I used, because believe it or not, tomorrow I won't remember. I don't have a cool signature, never could figure one out. Anyway, so there we go. Now, I might do some embellishing on the top layer. I don't know. It's possible. But that's how I'm doing what I'm doing. Let's give them some eyeballs here. Maybe it's a her. Maybe she likes bling like I do. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. If I wanted to, if I really was unhappy with something in here, I could go over it with either some more watercolors, some more ink tints, or whatever. But I'm okay with this. I'm kind of pleased with what I did. And I hope if you want to give this a try, you'll find your own sort of way of going about it and join in. And if not, if you like this, then I appreciate a thumbs up. And if you didn't, you can give it a thumbs down. And I hope to see you again. And you all take care and be safe out there. Stay cool if you're in a hot area. Stay warm if you're in a cool area. And I'll see you in the next one. Not sure what that'll consist of, but that's it for now for me. I hope that you like what I did and that you can see some of the texture and stuff from underneath, the layers that I used. Some of it disappears totally, some of it does not. And I think that's the fun part, is not knowing what that top layer is going to end up looking like. So thanks. I appreciate you being here. Take care of yourselves and see you on the next one. Bye.